Hello all. Hope all of you are doing well after this pandemic. So here I am Prerna and this is my second video after PowerPoint presentation which I published. So again I am here going to present about the views based on communication skills and different forms of communication skills. So here there are two types of communication, verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Before we discuss about the types of communication, let us discuss what is communication and why it is known as communication skills. So communication basically means to speak, to communicate, to converse with each other, to share your opinions, thoughts, experiences, expressions, information with each other. So right now even we are communicating. I am the speaker or I am the sender and you are the listener, you are the receiver. So we are communicating at this moment as well. Uh, Forms of communication, as I told, for verbal communication there are four forms, or we can consider them as skills as well. So listening, speaking, reading and writing, these are the four skills which are important to communicate in any language, and these are only the skills through which we can get communicated with each other easily. So listening, that is first, and if you want to remember this in a sequence, the short form you should remember of all this, that is LSRW. So if you will remember this sequence well, you can easily learn communication in any language. And listening always stands first, not speaking. So people are having grudges in their mind that if we are the good speaker, we should not listen to anyone, or why should we listen to others if we are the good speakers only. But you also can be the good speaker when you are just an effective listener first. So any language which we want to learn, we should try to listen to that language first and then to speak. Then we can read that language easily if we are having expertise in it, in listening and speaking, and then at the end it is writing. So this is the sequence LSRW: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Now the word communication, that is derived from a Latin word, and that was communicare. What is the meaning of communicare? In easy words, it is to share. So communicare or communis, that means to share. So in communication also we are doing the same thing. We are sharing the content in different forms with each other. Now listening, forms of listening, speaking, reading and writing. So which are the forms of listening, speaking and reading or writing? Using different sources we try to communicate with others. For example, those sources can be listening sources are from which we do listen, that is television, music, even internet, even through internet different things we do listen. Our lectures can be there, speeches of leaders or any motivational speeches can be there. Then we do listen to conferences, seminars, we listen to others talks as well. So these all are the forms of listening, various forms of listening, and this same can be the forms of speaking as well. So we listen to speeches, conferences, seminars, lectures, videos, we listen to music, movie dialogues. So these all are the forms of speaking as well. Okay. Then reading. Reading, again, which are the sources of reading or through which we do read? Textbooks can be there, study books can be there, different types of other books like novels, biography, autobiography, story books, comics. So all these kinds of books also can be there, newspapers, magazines, journals, research papers, research articles, right? So these are the forms of reading. Lastly, forms of writing. Again, the same can be the forms of writing as well, and including all these forms of writing, other forms of writing can be paragraph writing, letter writing, report writing, email writing, and description writing, proposal writing, research paper writing. So all these are the forms of writing as well. So these are the different forms of these four skills. Now if you do not have an expertise in any of these four forms, then you will fail to learn that particular language. Either it is our any regional language, any mother tongue of us, or any regional language, or any international language even. So first attempt is, you should always try to listen to the language first. Here while listening to others, we are not listening to that speaker, right? We should keep our mindsets aside or attitude aside, that we are listening to the particular person. Why should we listen to that particular person, right? So that those kinds of grudges or mindsets or perceptions regarding that person, that speaker, we should keep aside, and we should focus on the content first, or content or the speech first, right? So whatever we are listening, we are never listening to the person, we are always listening to the person's thoughts or ideas or information only, or knowledge only. So we should never criticize that person, we should listen to the content first. So these are the four forms and sources of communication. As I told, two types are there: verbal and non-verbal communication. In verbal communication, as I told, there are different forms of verbal communication, and these are the forms, the same forms, like as we discussed: listening, speaking, reading and writing. That means LSRW. These are only the forms of verbal communication. And now what does it mean by verbal communication? Verbal, that means we speak using words, or we speak using our own mouth, tongue. That is known as verbal communication. So using words or by speaking we communicate, that is verbal communication. Non-verbal communication, what does it mean by non-verbal communication? So without using the words, if we speak, if we communicate without using the words with anyone, that is called non-verbal communication skills. Now what can be the types of non-verbal communication skills, or whether it is possible to communicate without using a single word even? Yes, it is possible, and in a day maximum we use non-verbal communication skills while communicating with anyone, right? So in our real life even we are communicating using non-verbal communication skills maximum. For example, if out of 100 persons we communicate in a day 100 persons, so out of this 100 persons, if we divide verbal and non-verbal communication done by us, that is 57 persons non-verbal communication we communicate, and 43 persons is verbal communication we use. So this is the ratio, how do we communicate verbally and how do we communicate non-verbally. Okay, now types, regarding the types of non-verbal communication, let us discuss the types. Today I will just give you the points, which are the points of non-verbal communication skills, and explanation of those points or of those types, that we will be discussing in the next video. So here, non-verbal communication skills, let us start from the first or the beginning. Gestures, postures, eye contact, facial expressions, body language, chronemics, proxemics, and haptics and paralinguistics. These are the types of non-verbal communication skills, right? So now let me just give you the hint what is non-verbal communication skills. These types which I told, that we will be discussing in the next lecture, but what is it? So for example, at your home only, if you are talking with your mother or with your father, and if you demand for something on instant basis, right? And when after so many times if you have demanded, and if you get answer in no, every time. But at the end, when you are so ridiculous, and your demand is also so ridiculous, and finally your parents would just give you some expressions on face, that finally it is no, that they will not give that particular thing to you at any cost, right? So on basis of that expressions, facial expressions, or gestures or postures, you will understand that now there is no scope to demand for the particular thing again, right? So that is that was final answer, or that is final answer which is in no only, by expressions only by your parents. So that is called non-verbal communication skills, right? So if we communicate with friends, even family members, even, and if we communicate with pets, animals who are kept as pets, animals or birds, right? So if they even communicate with us, so that is called non-verbal communication skills. That means without using any word, any single word, or any phrases, or any proper communication. So that's it for today. Hope you people would like to learn the things, the contents based on communication skills. Even basically we have started from today, and later on gradually we will go through different aspects of English subject as well, like grammar, English grammar, all the different points of grammar, and so many other things we will be discussing in lectures. So hope you people would enjoy it and would love to watch my videos. Thank you all.